Ropp Star Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in. Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate everyone being here. Welcome to the Ropp Star Report. Of course, as always, your host, Clay. Hope everyone had a great Memorial weekend. It was, for me, it was filled with friends and new friends and family. Not really family. My family wasn't really around. But me and my girl, my daughter, got to do some stuff. So I guess that it's that family. But then playing golf with the boys. Went to the pool yesterday. Went to Pop Stroke. I kind of did touristy. I did basically was like a tourist, even though I'm a local of Myrtle Beach, and got sunburnt really bad. Got sunburnt really bad yesterday. So here we are. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button. As always, make sure y'all are always keep pounding. Appreciate that right there. For day one Panthers fan, I appreciate that. Guys, make sure you also do me a favor and share the live. It always helps as well. All right. Share the live out. I greatly appreciate that. Okay. If you're on Twitter, come on over to the YouTube channel. It's better over here. But feel free to watch over there. Okay. What's up, Chris? Appreciate you joining. All right. Got a good show for you. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's get right into it. Let's get in the whole shebang here. No, I don't want that. What do I want? I want it. I think we're gonna. Well, we'll rock that. We'll rock that. So, for those of you that don't know, OTA started last week, and I just kind of want to do a big recap and takeaways from last week. First off, just some key takeaways because they wrapped their first week up of organized team OTAs. And there was plenty to discuss. So I just kind of want to do a quick recap of that. Another thing is that something I want to share with you guys, give you my thoughts on this. This was shared today. Before I dive into the takeaways from the OTAs, this was shared today on Twitter by Tom Pelissero, the end of OTA. So the NFL Association is basically cooking up some new changes for the offseason grind. And it's got a lot of people talking, and the word on the street is they're putting together a proposal to shake things up starting in 2025. So basically what he's saying here is, picture this. There will be no more of those optional on-field sessions in the spring. Instead, they're just going to beef up the training camp that kicks off mid-June to early July. Okay, so what does that mean for the players? So basically, it means that it's going to give starters more breathing room in the offseason, and those spring workouts can be intense and not worry about them give players more time to rest and focus on their training routines. And then on top of that, you're ramping up a longer training camp, and they'll have more time to get in sync with their teammates and shake off any offseason rust. So let's remember the flip side. And some folks may argue this, but that those spring sessions are crucial for team bonding, getting rookies up to speed. So there will be some back and forth on whether this proposed overhaul is proper. Either way, changes are on the horizon for the NFL offseason. Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Do you think a longer training camp is going to be better? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. But that's what the NFL Players Association is cooking up. So basically, no more of those option on-field sessions in the spring. Instead, they're just going to have a longer training camp from mid-June to early July. So I'm wondering if that means preseason is going to be earlier too. Preseason games are going to be earlier. What's next? You going to add another preseason back, 4 preseason games? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting out of what they're saying there with with this whole thing. So, all right. So let's go back through some key takeaways from this off season or last week's OTAs. Bryce Young seems to be a fast learner. Head coach Dave Canales couldn't be more thrilled with his progress. Basically, Canales added a little dose of reality about the NFL quarterbacks. He was basically saying people expect them to be just perfectly accurate, and some are more, and he's right. Some are more accurate than others. Bryce he's basically saying Bryce is a different body type, different size, different speed, different quickness, and it's just different. But has been impressed with the young kid. The curious case of Eddie Pinheiro, that was another thing I took away. Obviously Pinheiro came out on Instagram, posted up on his story wherever he's at. Our kicker missed involuntary training camp or missed voluntary mini camp and was a no-show OTAs for the start of OTAs. No one's spilling the beans on why, but I think it has to do with something with the contract. After all, he's in his final year of his deal. He's not worth it. I'd rather take a chance on the thicker kicker, Harrison Mavis out of Missouri, who's on a rookie contract. And what has Eddie Pinheiro done to receive a contract extension? Some people will argue saying, well, he kicked 2 game-winning field goals, whatever the case may be, right? He won 2 games for us. Well, it took Bryce Young and that offense to get down the field to do that. All right. So, I could care less about that. Another thing some other things I want to highlight was no prime time love. Of course, the NFL schedule makers, the Panthers got the cold shoulder this year. No primetime games for us in 2024. Canales took over a team that went 2-15 last season, and he's right. We got to earn it. All right. And basically, he came out and said that primetime games just don't come along, and we have to build our team to earn those primetime games and show off that we deserve those primetime games. And I totally agree with that. Another thing was that I wanted to recap over was the Gamecock reunion. It looks like we have basically an alumni club of the University of South Carolina here. Now you have Jadeveon Clowney, DJ Wanum, Xavier Legette, J.C. Horn, all Gamecocks. Horn also praised Legette because they were former teammates. And then who knows? Maybe Stephon Gilmore's joining, maybe not. Basically, Bryce Young versus Caleb Williams. I would say, nah. The media is hyping week 5 as Bryce Young versus Caleb Williams, but it isn't. But Young isn't playing that game. He came out and said, "I've known Caleb for a long time." Basically, said he thinks he's a great dude. Respect his game. Basically saying that this isn't basketball. There's no one-on-one matchups. And it's Panthers versus every team. It is. It's Panthers versus the world right now. It's the Carolina Panthers versus the NFL, right? That's what it is. And then, of course, we all know the picture of Bryce looking like a bodybuilder when he was throwing. Looks like he's bulked up. Definitely showed some noticeable difference. Looks like he definitely hit the gym hard this offseason. But you can be the judge of that yourself. So that's just a quick recap of last week. Just some things I wanted to highlight on. Let's get into the real tasty, good stuff. All right, let's get into real good stuff. All right. We know that Bryce Young at rookie season was a rocky rookie season. Wasn't something that we expected. We're gearing up to turn things around. Was a high school prodigy, Heisman Trophy winner. Just had a tough introduction to the NFL, right? The Carolina Panthers are making moves to set him up for success. So here are my 3 things. If Bryce Young wants to silence doubters and bounce back in a big way, first things first that has to happen is the supporting cast around him is going to have to step up. No quarterback can shine without a supporting cast, all right? Last season, Bryce found himself less than an ideal situation. The Panthers' offensive line was more that basically represented Swiss cheese. The receivers couldn't shake defenders. The coach staff couldn't agree on developing Bryce Young. In short, it was a disaster last year, all right? But things have looked up. They've invested heavily in that offensive line. New start, you get Robert Hunt, you get Damian Lewis. So these guys are tough, experienced, ready to protect Bryce Young. And then you got left tackle Quantum, who needs to also rebound after a shaky season last year. On the receiving end, you get additions like Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette, guys who bolster up this wide receiver room. You get Jadavion Sanders, you add another weapon. So if these new pieces can gel, he can thrive and perform consistently. Another thing that they have to do, they have to play to Bryce's strengths. That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to adjust to Bryce's strengths. The coaching staff couldn't get on the same page last year, which led to all that confusion, poor performance. Frank Wright's all-star coaching staff was anything but that. All right. Definitely wasn't the Avengers that everybody thought they were going to be. All it was just a bunch of different disagreements on scheme and play calling. So I feel like this year there's a new sheriff in town, head coach Dave Canales. Canales has that track record of developing quarterbacks. He helped Russell Wilson rise to that stardom, rejuvenate his career with Geno Smith, and then Baker Mayfield. All right. So the Panthers are banking on him to work his magic with Young. All right. One of the top priorities for him is tailoring this offense to Bryce Young and his strengths. This means getting the ball out of Bryce Young's hands quickly and incorporating more run-pass options plays and establishing a strong run game. That's the way I look at it. I expect to see more tight end involvement, pre-snap motion, fast decision-making from Young. I feel like Young will have no excuses under Canales' expert guidance if the offensive line holds up and the playmakers deliver. All right. And another thing that Bryce is going to have to do throughout the years, and he's going to have to improve his game, right? He's just going to have to get better and better game in and game out. I think, right? You've got better support. You got a tailored scheme to you. Young has to step up and fix the flaws in his game. The Panthers took this massive gamble trading up for him number 1 overall. So now it's time for him to prove he is worth it. It's time for him to prove that he's worth it. What up, Marcos? Appreciate you joining, man. 33 people watching. Make sure you pound that like button. 28 on YouTube, 5 on Twitter. Make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in, guys. I would greatly appreciate it. But this offseason, he's definitely been putting the work in. We've seen it. He's bulked up to handle those physical demands of the NFL better. And he remains confident despite a tough rookie year. There was glimpses of his potential last season, but some key areas need improvement. First off, his footwork was something I thought definitely needed to improve, especially in the pocket. He needs to be quicker, more precise, set his feet, not on his tippy toes, all right? That's going to help him go through his progressions faster, especially if the offensive line does its job, okay? Second thing, Young needs to recognize and react to pressure more effectively, making quicker decisions to either find an open receiver or escape the pocket. And finally, the biggest thing of all is his downfield accuracy must improve. Opposing defenses will continue to sit on short routes unless Bryce Young can consistently hit deep passes. That's what he's got to do. That's what he's got to do. All right. Bryce Young's arm strength might not be elite, but it's good enough to make a big play if he can improve his timing and precision. It's a lot to ask, but with hard work, right sport, he's more than capable of making a significant leap forward, for sure. All right. Basically, I think that those are the three factors for me, though. All right. So better supporting cast, scheme that fits him, and his own improvements. And that's how he will have a bounce back year. That's how he's going to have a bounce back year. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Everyone in here. Make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Feel free to get in the comments section, guys, as you're going throughout to today's live stream. Make sure you go through. Make sure you go through today's top. Make sure you get in the comment section. Love to hear y'all's thoughts. I hope Coach Canales and the offensive staff goes back and watches Team J LSU highlights, looks at what Team J was good at and what got him drafted, and use him at what he's good at before giving up. I mean, he's also got to put the work in too, day one. I mean, they can scheme it up all they want, but they're not going to scheme it up for unfortunately for Team J. They're going to scheme this offense up for, well, I can't say that. They're going to scheme it up for all the players and not just Bryce Young's strengths, but they're going to particularly going to build this offensive scheme up for Bryce Young. But yes, I think that they could, and the terms that you're going for with Team J could build some plays around it. But I think they're going to build this offensive. I think Canales is going to build this offensive scheme to fit everybody on this offense. I don't think it's just going to be Bryce. I feel like he's going to have to build this offense around everyone on here. So what are some things? So here's some other thing is, guys, is like, we need to steer clear of some trouble. That's one thing that's the Panthers mission. Okay. We are finding ourselves in a crucial juncture. It's been 7 years since their last playoff appearance and a winning season. Since the start of 2019, they have posted the worst record in the NFL overall of 24-59. But this offseason, there's been this sense now of that this organization might finally be right on track. All right. But there's things that this team has to steer clear of throughout the year. Okay. All right. All right. First things first. Stalling the development of Bryce Young is something that they cannot do. All right. There's a new hope in Charlotte. So the offseason, they've made all these significant changes, right? They hired a young, brilliant, offensive-minded head coach to develop Bryce Young, all right? They ensured that the entire coaching staff is aligned on the philosophy and the scheme, all right? And they have surrounded Young with more talent and these crucial moves because the Panthers are getting they're trying to get this quarterback situation right? So the importance is, of course, is the Bryce Young's development, right? It's pretty straightforward. If Bryce Young doesn't pan out, those dark clouds will continue to hover over Bank of America Stadium for years. The goal for the Panthers this season is simply yet monumental. Young must show noticeable improvement. If the team only wins, and even if the team only wins a few games, Young's progression needs to be evident. We have to see progress. So he must remain calm in high-pressure situation, deliver clutch performances, give this team a fighting chance. Now, there's always that there's always that thing called the 2-year rule. I don't know if you ever heard it. This is a general rule in the NFL. If a quarterback hasn't shown significant progress after 2 full starting years, right? It's usually rare for them to establish themselves as a franchise player eventually. So for the Panthers, avoiding this scenario is crucial. So the biggest win for them this season might not be reflected in their wins or losses, okay? But it's in Young's development. If by the end of the season there's no clear progress, that's a major setback. Now, I will say this. The right coach for the job. That's another thing. David Tepper and Dan Morgan seem to have found this perfect coach in Dave Canales to get Young going. Canales has that reputation, right, for developing quarterbacks, right? We've said it multiple times. So his approach is going to be crucial for how Young's development, all right? He understands the importance of meeting the players where they are and not trying to rush the process. This approach will be vital when things get bumpy, as it almost certainly will. Okay? All right. There's this thing that there's incremental improvements, though. Canales has emphasized that Young doesn't need to put up flashy numbers to prove his worth. He just needs to show steady improvement. Be a better quarterback in October than he was in September, better than November than he was in October, so on and so forth. So if by the end of the season, if the Panthers have the same doubts about Young as they did going in, it's a clear sign that the mission has failed. The bottom line here is that the Panthers are at a pivotal point. They have been years of mediocrity. They have a chance to build something special here. The only thing that is avoiding is stalling Bryce Young's development. If Young can show consistent progress, become a better quarterback throughout the season, the Panthers will be well on their way to brighter days, right? But again, it comes down to those 3 factors that I just spoke about. It's about, Bryce improving his game, though, too. It's also about playing around Bryce Young's strengths, but it's also about the supporting cast that he needs to step up, that hopefully they step up after what they've done. Like the guys of Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette, Jadavion Sanders, Jonathan Brooks, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, so on and so forth. So you cannot, it's all about Bryce Young now at this point. We all know that. I think we can all agree on that it's all on Bryce Young's. Unfortunately, it is. It's all on Bryce Young's shoulders and Dave Canales' and Dan Morgan's. It's all 3 of them, really, but to a certain extent of each one. So that's the poll question of the day. My poll question of the day. Can the Carolina Panthers defense crack that top 10 again? Do y'all think they can do it? That's the poll question of the day. So far, we've got 27 votes, and it says 78% of you voted hell yeah. It was a hell yeah, hell no kind of ordeal. All right, 27 votes and only 14 likes. Make that make sense, folks. Pound that like button. Let's go. An hour ago, we had 27 votes, but we only have 17 likes. So make sure you pound that like button. All right, guys? Do me a favor and smash that like button on the YouTube channel, okay? So last year, Carolina Panthers defense had everyone's jaws on the floor. No one expected them to be, I think, as good as they were, especially after switching to a 3-4 scheme under Evero. And despite the skepticism, they finished the 2023 season with really stellar numbers. They were 3rd in total defense, which was 293.9 yards per game allowed. third in passing defense, 171.5 yards per game allowed, and a respectable 12th in rushing yards per attempt at 4.1. Okay. Now, the unexpected success is defense hasn't really been the problem for the Panthers in recent years, even with coaches like Phil Snell and Al Holcomb. The team managed to still string together some impressive defensive performance, but in 2023, I felt like this defense really outdid themselves. The big question mark now is, can they keep it up into 2024? I think it's all about Evro's magic touch when it comes to this defense. First thing I think about when I think about the Carolina Panthers defense is not the players. It's about our defensive coordinator, Jero Evero. Guys, he's turned out to be this defensive mastermind, in my opinion, that the Panthers didn't know they needed. All right. They took a defense that was transitioning schemes and made it into one of the best in the league. And that is no small feat. So what's the outlook in 2024? Well, it isn't entirely sold. Like labeling a repeat performance as somewhat unlikely. But before we get all into the doom and gloom, let me break this down for you a little bit more, okay? You got to look at the talent on hand on this roster, okay? Sure, the departure of Brian Burns probably stinks, okay? Losing a player of his caliber, it's never easy. But let's not forget the talent is still on the roster. Up front, you've got Derek Brown, a beast who's wrecked offensive line since he's been here. Secondary, J.C. Horn, Dane Jackson. J.C. Horn's, I think, is a ready lockdown corner. Dane Jackson, that's soon to be seen what he's going to be able to do. You got safety Jordan Fuller, Xavier Woods, Nick Scott, those guys on the back end. Don't sleep on Jadeveon Clowney. If he stays healthy, he can be a game changer off the edge. The potential concerns, though, on that side of the ball. Thanks, Dom34. Appreciate you with those comments and words. Appreciate that. Day one Panthers fans going to get these hands. Smash that like button, subscribe. Appreciate that. But there are potential concerns to me with this defense. Again, it goes back to the whole secondary. It does raise a few eyebrows because particularly in that quarterback room, the depth and consistency are the question marks of this defense. Now, Evero has shown he can get the most out of his players, plus the defensive line that can generate pressure. The corners might not have to cover for long. Now, here's the thing. You got to look at the pass rush now, okay? Brian Burns is gone. So there's a natural concern about that pass rush. However, when we look at that, the Panthers have made improvements in some areas. You added Clowney, getting more from the existing talent pool, all right, could mitigate the absence of Brian Burns. So a strong pass rush is the best friend of any secondary, right? So Evero's scheme is designed to create havoc. So if I'm a betting person, I'm betting on Evero. I'm betting on Evero has already shown he can push the right buttons. His ability to adapt and maximize players' strengths has been evident since he's been here. And if anyone can keep this defense in the top 10, it's him, right? Maybe they won't finish third again, but top 10, that's within reach. The bottom line is that can they finish top 10 again? I think a lot of skeptics might say they have their doubts, but there's plenty of reason to be optimistic with this defense. All right. With Evero at the helm and a roster brimming with talent, the Panthers defense has what it takes to be among the league's best once more. And again, if this offense is staying on the field longer, so if we're seeing progress from the offense and the offense is staying on the field longer, and Evero was able to take a team last year that went 2-15, and the defense was consistently on the field and still finished them in the top 10, last year, there's no doubt in my mind that this guy's going to be able to make this defense top 10 again this year if we see improvement on the offensive side of the ball. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button. Day one says facts. Doubtful. I don't think it's doubtful. I don't think it's doubtful. Appreciate everyone joining. Make sure you pound that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. We bounced up into some subscribers. We're almost at 5,300. We're on the road to 10K. The run D should improve. Added in players who can defend the run. Yeah, absolutely. AJ, I totally agree with that. All right, next topic I want to talk about. How does Chuba Hubbard stack up against other running backs in the NFL? I'm going to start another poll now with this topic. I'm going to end that last poll because looks like 71% of you believe that out of 32 votes, 71% of you believe that the Panthers defense will be top 10 again in 2024. All right, let's start another poll. Where would you rank Chuba Hubbard in the running? Where would you rank Chuba Hubbard in the NFL? In the running back. Where would you rank running back Chuba Hubbard in the out of the NFL running backs? Where would you rank Chuba Hubbard out of the NFL running backs? Let's go. We'll go top 10. All right, we'll just go 1 through 10, 11 through 20. We'll go 21 through 30. Or 31 and below. There you go. And you can comment too. You can comment. I just put the poll up. You can put up. I see that some people said bottom 25 for Chuba, top 20. I'm just kind of curious to see where you guys would rank Chuba. We're 100% better as a team than last year. Just having our coaches on the same page as shoes. If we get 6-7 wins this year, it means that we had a good offseason. Yeah, Stacy, I think 6-7 wins that's where my head's at. I think that's the ceiling for this team, 6 to 7 wins. I predicted them based off their schedule to go 7 and 10. So I think that's where I got it. Bottom 25 for Chuba. I kind of want to see what the poll looks like. So far, we got 9 votes. Y'all got 21 to 30, 11 to 20. One person's got him in, looks like 11%'s got him in 1 through 10. So you got him in the top. Someone's got him in the top 10 of running backs. Wow. Okay. All right. So we'll keep that poll going. It's only been up there for a minute. Chuba wouldn't start somewhere else. He's a backup caliber. Let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, we could look at I mean, we could go, Jeff R makes a good point. Like, we could go look at like other teams' running back rooms and see if he would start there. You know what I mean? But that would just take way too much time. Panthers, I mean, this guy's been a 4-year running back. He's going into his 4th year as a running back here. All right. Obviously, Dave Canales has been vocal about his plan to turn this thing into a heavy run game. Obviously using every option available, but as it stands, Hubbard is slated to be that main guy, unless, of course, some injury throws a wrench in the works. Hubbard stepped up last year. Let's be honest. He was the lead back in October last season, managed 5 games with over 80 rushing yards, all behind a notoriously weak offensive line. 4 of the standout performance came in the final months of the season. He highlighted by 104 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pro Football Focus, so PFF, has him ranked as the 28th best running back. That puts him ahead of notable names. Now, listen, that put him above Austin Eckler, Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards, and Zamir White. So that's where PFF has him. Nice. He did good with a messed up O-line, yeah. I mean, Chuba definitely would be. Dallas would be would definitely be happy if they had Chuba Hubbard right now. They would be ecstatic. Chuba asking price probably between 10 and 20 million range, 8 to 12 mil per year. He did what Sanders couldn't do last season behind a bad O-line. Yeah. I mean, again, I'd rather pay Chuba Hubbard Miles Sanders contract. I'll say that. If we go look at last year, I would much rather pay that man the $25 million contract for 4 years, $16 million guaranteed. $16 million guaranteed. I would much rather pay that. I'd much rather pay Chuba Hubbard than Miles Sanders. Right now, I would pay Chuba Hubbard over Miles Sanders for sure. There's no there. He put up over 1,100 yards of scrimmage behind a terrible offensive line. Behind a terrible offensive line. And you had a guy come over here, Miles Sanders, who had great years with the Eagles. I thought he was going to be great because he showed how he looked really good, but it just proves that he was just only as good as that offensive line was in Philadelphia. I think so. Day one, I think Chuba Hubbard is a 1,300 plus yard from scrimmage back if he plays for the Dallas Cowboys with that offensive line. You put Chuba Hubbard in Philadelphia, 1,400 yard from the line of scrimmage. Now, when I'm saying that is I'm talking about y'all all total yards of scrimmage. That's including receiving. Okay. Including receiving. So let me be clear on that. Some people don't understand from scrimmage yards what that actually means. It's not just rushing yards. Trade Miles to Dallas. I would, Matt. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Oh, for sure. Behind a terrible offensive line. They were both behind the same offensive line, and Chuba outplayed him the whole way. I don't know, Dom 34. I don't know. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Zeke's going to be the third down back there in Dallas. Zeke's a third down back specialist. That's what he is now. He's not the same Zeke. He's not the every down Zeke when he first came in the NFL. He's not, Jeff. So Chuba would start in Dallas. And Zeke would be that third down specialist back. Guarantee it. I guarantee it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even PFF had him over Austin Eckler, which I get because Eckler's older now, right? I mean, he carried the ball last year. So listen to this. Hubbard was set to be the backup in Carolina last year after they signed Miles Sanders to that big contract. Then Sanders failed. Hubbard stepped up. He carried the ball over 238 times and had over 900 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now, will Hubbard be the starter this year? That's still up for the debate. But his 2023 performance definitely gives him the edge over the running back number 2 we're expecting, I guess, Miles Sanders. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's honestly last year, I thought had an unexpected rise to that starting position. He had impressive late season stats. He had a decent PFF ranking. So I think he's a running back to watch out for. Whether he holds on to that starting role or not will be seen heading into the new season. Obviously, depends on how Brooks. I think Brooks is going to be the guy that's going to compete for him for that starting job. I think it depends on how Brooks comes back from that ACL injury. But right now, I mean, I would probably put, if I'm voting, if I could vote on that poll up there, I would say Chuba Hubbard's 11 through 20. Like, he's top 15, top 20. I wouldn't put him top 10 yet. But 11 to 20, I think that's a good place to be. Top 15, top 20. I mean, he did put over, again, I told y'all, he put over 1,100 yards from scrimmage last year behind that offensive line we had. I think 11 through 20 is fair. Let me get to some of these comments. His hands weren't that bad, Jeff, last year. I don't think he dropped a pass last year. I don't think Chuba Hubbard dropped a pass. I mean, you look at Chuba Hubbard's stats last year in the receiving game. He had over 233 yards. He had over 233 yards. So he had over 1,100 yards from scrimmage last year. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button. Greatly appreciate it. Think Team Jake can be night and day if he put in the right spot. We'll see. We'll see, day one Panthers fan. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's the reason why they brought in Rashad Penny, though, too. Matt Morrison. Let him get some snaps. And, of course, he's a special team specialist. With how bad the coaching has been, we could have a couple of players break out this season. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. When Brooks is healthy, him and Hubbard, two-headed monster, Stewart Williams 2.0. I hope so. I hope so. Well, he obviously doesn't need it, Vietnam. I mean, he had over 1,100 yards from scrimmage and 5 touchdowns last year. So it's not that. I mean, like they should making the train sound when he breaks one. Yeah. Not counting the yards that was took away due to flags. It's true that. Definitely could make a case towards that. All right. Next topic I want to talk about here. I didn't skip your comment. I didn't skip your comment, Fade now. Marcos, you blocked me? I don't think anybody blocked you. Jeff R says laugh out loud. Is the NFC South, okay, fun topic here. Is the NFC South the worst NFL division next year? Or this year, sorry. Is this still the worst division? I'm going to put a poll question up. Is the NFC South the worst division in the NFL? Is it? Hell yeah, hell nah. That's what we're going to put. That's what we're going to put. 34 people are watching, only 19 likes. There's no reason why we shouldn't have 34 likes already, ladies and gentlemen. There's no reason for it. So make sure you smash that like button. Is the NFC South the worst division in NFL football? Let's talk about it, okay? Let's discuss the NFC South. You've got Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, okay? The Carolina Panthers, I mean, bless their hearts, they have been struggling mightily over the past few years, which makes their residence in such a weak division even more painful. Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, okay? The Bucs unexpectedly clinched their second straight division title with a 9-8 record. Of all people, Baker Mayfield had one of the best seasons of his career, racked up 28 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards, and a 74.6 grading from PFF. So, winning the NFC South again in 2024 is the goal. And they've kept some key players to make that happen, all right, in Tampa. New Orleans Saints. Still got Derek Carr as the quarterback. He's been a down. However, Chris Olave has looked good. The secondary is still solid. Could help lock down. He could help lock down offenses this year. Carr needs to step up for them to be genuine contenders again. All right, Atlanta Falcons had quietly had high hopes last season. They ended up 7-10, which led them to a lot of changes. Out went Desmond Ridder and Arthur Smith, and then here comes Raheem Morris and Kirk Cousins. So Cousins, who had a strong showing in 2023, 86.51 grade in just 8 games. Now he also has plethora of talent again to work with, even though he had plethora of talent in Minnesota besides maybe the running back position. But if he stays healthy, this offense is top 10 easy. Okay. We don't even need to talk about the Panthers. We talk about them enough. We know what they got. Okay. We know what they got. All right. Improvement is a must. All I'm going to say is we know improvement is a must for the Carolina Panthers, particularly for Bryce Young, who needs to start showing why he was the number 1 overall pick. Great. Easy enough. Okay. All right. So is the NFC South the worst division? It's hard to argue otherwise. I mean, this division seems destined for the bottom for at least another couple years. You look ahead to 2024. It appears to be a 3-horse race between, I think, Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. If Kirk can stay healthy, Falcons, I think, have the edge. Tampa is not far behind. As for the Panthers, I think no one. I mean, I could be wrong in here. But I think no one expects them to be a serious contender this season. So they're going to have to show signs of progress, especially with Bryce Young. And if he can become the quarterback everyone believes he can be, Carolina could dominate this division soon. Cousins isn't getting any younger. Carr and Mayfield are just above average QBs. So the future of the NFC South could very well belong to the Panthers as long as Bryce Young can rise to the occasion. But is the NFC South the worst division in the NFL? Yes. The NFC South is the worst division in NFL football. I don't care what anybody says. Falcons are going to struggle on defense. We'll see. Let's look at the poll question. 8 votes. Is the NFC South the worst division? Been up for like 5 minutes. You got 8 votes. It's 50-50 for you guys. Let's see what else everybody's saying in the comments here. But if this division starts playing good football, if the teams individually start playing for each other and play for their teammates and do their job and hold themselves accountable. The problem is you go look at like the AFC North. That's the top division in the NFL right now. The AFC North with Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Yeah, you go look at those NFL, and then who else is there? The Ravens. Like the NFC North is the top division in the NFL right now. There ain't nobody close to them. You probably have 3 teams, if not more. 3 teams, maybe even 4, who can make the playoffs. Right? Because the AFC North, that's the division. That division is a beast. You got 3 playoff teams last year. It's stacked. And the Ravens are coming off like the best record with the MVP. You got Lamar Jackson, a solid defense. The Bengals, I think, are set to bounce back with a healthy Joe Burrow. So the Browns last year had the league's top defense. Led by Myles Garrett there. And even the Steelers are making moves. They're experimenting with Russell Wilson. Then you look at the AFC East. You've got the Bills who are aiming for their 5th straight division crown. They'll miss Stephon Diggs, I think, a little bit. They'll feel that hit. The Jets are hoping that Aaron Rodgers stays healthy to lead them to the playoffs. Miami's offense, that's driven by Tua and Hill, which is explosive. And the Patriots are entering a new era with Jared Mayo and Drake May. But my top 2 divisions, definitely the AFC North and AFC East. The NFC East, I think, is the best division in the NFC, but they're 3rd for me. Like the Eagles and the Cowboys are the powerhouse there. They combined for 23 wins last season. So you look at Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, they're leading both of those teams. Commanders are transitioning. They hope to have Jalen, they've got rookie quarterback Jalen Daniels. The Giants, they're rebuilding after a tough season. Made big moves like trading Brian Burns and drafting Malik Neighbors. Then you go in the NFC North. That's the next division I think is the strongest. That's the fourth strongest division in my opinion. The Lions are rising stars after a strong 2023, led by Jared Goff. You got the Packers who are thriving under Jordan Love, who had a stellar year. The Bears, they picked up Caleb Williams. That's a bright future there, right? The Vikings are banking on rookie J.J. McCarthy. We'll see how that goes. I've heard some terrible news about J.J. McCarthy, that he looks like shit. I don't know how true that is. Then I would say, like, my next division, I would say fifth division is the NFC West. The 49ers are going to dominate, right? The Rams, even without Aaron Donald, I think they look solid thanks to, their draft. I thought they had a good draft. They still got Puka. They still got why is the other wide receiver losing my mind right now? Who's the white boy? Who's the other white boy? Why am I Cooper Kupp? Duh. Don't know why I was having such a mind blank there. Then you got the Seahawks, who got a new head coach. The Cardinals are rebuilding around Kyler Murray. AFC West, that's my sixth best division, right? The Chiefs, they're back-to-back Super Bowls. They're the team to beat as long as Mahomes is playing in Kansas City. The Chargers are retooling under Jim Harbaugh. The Broncos are hoping Bo Nix ends their quarterback woes there. And then the Raiders are led by Antonio Pierce, are in a long-term rebuild without a clear quarterback solution. But the Raiders think that they're somehow good again. I still think the AFC South is above us. The Texans were surprising last year because of C.J. Stroud's stellar rookie year, led them to 10 wins. You talk about the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, he needs to cut the turnovers. They'll be a lot better. The Colts have still that potential. We'll see if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy. And the Titans are developing Will Levis under a new coach, Brian Callahan. So, again. And then I still have the NFC South at 8. So we'll see. But the NFC South is still the worst division. Yeah, that AFC East is going to be tough if Rodgers stays healthy. Not too long ago, we had 3 teams to go to the playoffs. Funny how fast things change. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. JJ isn't it. You can quote me on that later if need be. I've been saying that I didn't think JJ McCarthy was that good. I've also been known to say that I told y'all that Caleb Williams was going to be a bust. But he's set up so good. So if he's a bust, he's a super bust. He might how good Caleb Williams is set up. If he comes out and becomes a bust, he'll be a bigger bust than Jamarcus Russell. Damn, Chauncey, I hope that's right. Honestly, I don't wish injury on anyone, so I don't want injuries, but I hope he is trash. I hope he is. Because then we are going to look better than the Bears will. I think Jaden Daniels has a bright future too. I thought Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in this draft class, but a lot of people would argue that in other ways. A lot of people would argue that in other ways. So, well, guys, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I've been on here for an hour. I just wanted to hop on today, bring you some content. I hope y'all enjoyed it. As always, guys, make sure you pound the like button, hit that subscribe, join the Discord, become a member today. It's only two. It starts even at 99 cents a month. Okay. You can become a member today at 99 cents a month. All right. So become a member today. The link to become a member is in the description of this live stream. It's right down there. It says join the channel to access to the perks. That link will take you right to it. My link tree is down there. That'll take you to my TikTok, my Twitter, my Instagram. If you want to follow me there, it'll also take you to the BetUS. Obviously, you still got the NFL, you got the NHL playoffs right now, you got the NBA playoffs right now. So why not get some free money to bet? Sign up for free today with BetUS. You get 125% bonus on your first bet. So you bet $100, they'll give you $125. All right. So make sure you pound the like button, subscribe, check those links out. The link tree's down below. And also become a member today, even starting at 99 cents. So it definitely helps out the channel. There's going to be a lot more perks coming with that here soon. So appreciate you guys. Everyone, I'm glad y'all had a wonderful weekend. Have a great rest of your Monday. And as always, keep pounding. Peace.